Be dads, rappers, crack. You said you wanted black stuff. That's black, right?
I see what you do.
It was amazing. I mean, I think that it was incredibly intimidating. I'll say that at first. It was terrifying because, as you said, they're also amazing. They have incredible pedigrees. They've all won, Tony Awards, Emmy Awards. Like, these are some of the best actors on the face of the planet. So I was terrified to come in there and try to direct them as a first-time director. But the thing that I realized is what makes them incredible actors is that they're also open-hearted and warm and collaborative, and they don't come with any ego. They don't come. They come to set to work and sort of make the movie as best as we can. So I just felt incredibly taken care of by them, which made my job a million times easier.
This is a film for anyone who's ever read a book, anyone who's ever been creative of any sort, anyone who has questions about the industries, any industry's portrayal of Black talent. What really struck me was that too few books were about my people. Where are our stories? Where's our representation?
Would you give us the pleasure of reading an excerpt?
Yo, Sharonda, girl, you be pregnant again? If I is, Ray Ray is gonna be a real father this time around. I think it's also a film for people who, have estranged relationships with their families. I love the familial aspect of this film and the way that Monk has to make amends with the people around him because he's kind of pushed everyone away because he's alienated himself. And so literally anybody who's ever had an interest in or read books or has family issues or just wants to watch a good movie, this is it.
The film explores themes around race, identity, culture, and perceptions of those things and representations of those things in mainstream media. But it also explores more elemental and universal themes around love, family, personal isolation, personal responsibility. And I think those things balance one another beautifully in our film. And I think they open a wide door for the audience to step inside and perhaps find themselves, no matter their background, find themselves inside this world and maybe find a bit of home here and there. I'm really excited about that. I'm excited that people may unexpectedly find something familiar and comforting in this film.
People want to love you, Monk. You should let them love all of you.
If you get the door to help change or influence progression there, that's one thing. But if they don't, then you gotta leave ignorance lie where ignorance lies. But I've seen a lot of things where, here's the most common mistake I see. You'll see writers write for Black culture based off of their stereotypical misnomers, but they don't know Black culture, they're not Black culture. Right. And I tell people, you're not qualified, you can't do this. And I say, it's not about the fact that you can't write. You can write, you can be a brilliant writer, but when it comes to this, you have to go to the root of honesty, which means go bring somebody in for an equitable position, go bring another Black person who understands this context and this particular lane, because we are multifaceted as a culture. Right. And respect the process by giving them the space to have their real voice. Because what you perceive is not our truth. And that's a common mistake. Some people are smart enough to step out of their own way and open the door for help. Other people, they like to live in their ignorance.
We're here celebrating this fantastic film, and you've always been somebody who's been a part of these fantastic ensembles, Living Single, Wu-Tang, obviously this movie, and you've always been able to shine and work great with your fellow actors and actresses. How is that, just coming in as a part of the team and working with so many heavyweights?
Well, that's the gig.
That's the gig. I think that from a very young age, when I was discovered, when I was 14, they asked me to be one of the leads of a movie, an independent film. And the stars of that were James Earl Jones and Geraldine Page.
Amazing.
So if you get baptized in those waters, you know you have to come up. And there's a certain amount of maturity and strength they must have seen in that young girl that they thought could take it. The good news is that I'm well supported.
Absolutely.
I'm well supported. If you're on a team, say a sports team, you may be a star someplace, but when you're around people whose strengths are matched, equally matched, then you work as an ensemble. So you got a bunch of soloists who, I think, in any world, be their own leading men and women. But they come together and they create an ensemble, and that music works just as well. They have to know that to do that takes a certain amount of sacrifice and balance.
I'm not so sure we need any more food in the house. It's not like Monk is living here, depressed and binging.
I loved the use of a writer to explore so much of what all of us are trying to make sense of, and maybe not all of us, but as a Black person, there's so much to navigate in terms of how society is making sense of our identity, our culture, who we are, and the appropriation of it. And I really loved that it was a story about that wasn't saying it was about that.
Why are you in town? I came to see your mother. Isn't that what you've been calling me about for weeks now?
At the end of the film, it had a different end in the beginning, and they ultimately decided that the love story that they thought was sort of interest was the love story between these two brothers.
Right.
So I was on to the next character in another role, but they were like, hey, we want to add you to this one scene, and so you get what you get in terms of the end.
There you go.
That's it.
My brother. Okay, so there you have it. Shaheem Reid. I talked to the cast of American Fiction. It's an incredible movie, an incredible ensemble. Make sure you check it and keep it locked here on Polaris.